and welcome back to the Davis County Community Spotlight. I am your host, Kristen Sherlock, and we are here at the Davis Catalyst Center with our fabulous student team. We've got Cody, Colin, Dax, and Xander helping us behind the scenes. And we've got a really fun special guest for you today that you probably have no idea all this great stuff is going on behind the scenes. We've got Micheal Tan. Micheal, how are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Woke up very blessed and fortunate to have this opportunity to be here today.
I'm excited to have just be in your presence because of all the great things that you're doing for your community and the extension of the Davis County community. So when did you move to Davis County?
So I moved to Davis County back in 2016. I lived in Eagle Mountain for 3 months, moved up to Layton and lived there for a year, and then moved to Kaysville, lived there for 4 years, and then finally bought a house and moved to Clearfield. So I've been there for a year.
So this is like home now.
Yes, it's permanent.
You lived enough in Davis County where you're like, I'm putting roots down.
Yes.
So tell me about your history then and what brought you to Davis County.
So what brought me to Davis County to go a little bit back, I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school from American Samoa. 2 days right after graduating, I shipped out to Camp Pendleton. That's where I had boot camp training, and then from there I served 5 years, 3 years in Okinawa, Japan, 2 in California, Camp Pendleton. I got out in 2013. I've been moving and doing a lot of contracting job. I was a avionics technician fixing helicopters.
Wow.
So it eventually ended up to me working on Hill Air Force Base, working a totally different job. But what brought me to Utah was I used to be a diesel electrician for Union Pacific in North Platte, Nebraska. So when they laid us off, they did a mass layoff. We made a split decision to move here because my family has my wife has roots here in Utah. So we moved and
to be closer to family. Yeah. Yes. And then, so now you're doing electronics mechanic work at Hill Air Force Base. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So I'm an electronics mechanic. I've been at this job for 3 years. I basically fix instrumentations that go on aircraft. So it can be jets, C-130, F-15s. So whatever aircraft they have, I fix their instrumentations, mainly PDOT static instruments.
This is critical work.
Yes.
If the pilots didn't have this, what would end up happening with their aircraft?
I'm not sure how they can navigate properly and how they'll know how the aircraft is feeling and what's happening with the aircraft.
That's awfully scary.
Yes. Yeah, so I like this job mainly because it's an inside job. I worked in a environmentally controlled area, but before I used to work in hangars where during the summer it's very hot and during the winter it's very cold. So
those temperature fluctuations I hear are just really extreme.
Yeah, my main background is just an aircraft electrician.
So was it your background in being a Marine that made you interested in furthering this kind of career?
So when I left the Marine Corps, I wanted to be in law enforcement, but because law enforcement has these processes, I never finished the process, mainly because I didn't want to wait for the school. You never know how long it'll take before you start going to the academies to be in law enforcement. So I made the choice to stick with my background and experience in what I already do, which was smart because I was newly married and I was basically thrown out there in the world to try to find out how to properly raise my family.
Somebody once advised me a long time ago, or he had a thought. He said, we focus so much on trying to better ourselves in the things that we're not good at. Why don't we spend that same kind of energy on the things that we're already good at and we already like to do and become excellent in that realm?
Yes. So what I found out is the older we grow, we want to find the things that we're not good at to add to the things that we're good at. So that's basically what I'm doing right now.
Something that complements what you're doing.
Yes.
I like that. So, but you're not just doing that, are you? You're not just at Hill Air Force Base doing electronics. You're doing a lot in your spare time? I don't
Yes.
even know if you have any more spare time.
People always tell me, how can you do this? Because I wear many hats in the community. I'm a podcaster, and I'm also the executive board on a chamber of commerce.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the podcast, because this is not a new setting for you. Your podcast, you're a producer of Behind the Lavalava. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so behind the Lavalava, the Samoan word Lavalava means cloth. And basically, the idea is that we believe that we're all cut from the same cloth, but each individual, each person has a unique story behind them. To start from the beginning, I was at a very dark corner in my life 3 years ago. That was when I was in Kaysville, and I wanted to end my life
I've been there.
under a sycamore tree late at night. So from that dark moment, the events that led up to it, it was basically a seed that planted and it soon grow into this podcast. So it's funny because I pitched this idea to my main group of friends. We were playing Call of Duty.
Uh-huh.
So you wouldn't think that a podcast would start from a gaming lobby, right?
That's all right.
And mainly because my friends were talking about these deep conversations, and I wanted people to know about these topics because it's relatable to everyone.
Yes.
So it started from a gaming lobby. I pitched the idea. We voted on the name. Behind the Lavalava was the family friendly name that we chose, especially when you're within within a group of veterans. So Behind the Lavalava came out. So here
Especially
we are.
because each veteran has a very unique, dark and light story, don't
Yes.
they?
Yes.
And I think everyone should be heard
Yeah.
because
so,
we can all learn something from
yeah.
their stories.
So Behind the Lavalava.
So that's how I got started.
Yeah. That's
And how
it
long have
started.
you been in production?
So we're almost 2 years in. February would be our next year.
That's fantastic.
So almost 2 years we've been in production.
But now Behind the Lavalava is not the only thing that you're doing.
Yes.
It's opened you up to meet a lot of other really interesting people.
Yes.
Which one of the organizations that you're involved with would you like to address next?
So I like to address the Utah Pacific Islander Chamber of Commerce. It's basically
yeah.
newly formed. We kind of separated from the original Pacific Island Chamber of Commerce, and we formed our own chamber a few months ago, and we've been gaining momentum ever since. So the Utah Pacific Islander Chamber of Commerce, I'll call it UPIC, has been, we have four main goals. The number one is bringing business to our businesses, culturally relevant business training and resources. The next one would be growth from within the community, and the last one, civic engagement. So those are the people who go to the legislation and advocate for funding
And lobby
yeah.
to help take care of our Pacific Islanders here in Utah and their businesses.
Yes.
I like this. And so this came about because of Behind the Lavalava.
Well, it's not because of Beyond Lavalava. I'm just one of the major contributors to this new chamber. So I'm an executive board, also the media chair for the chamber. So that's my role.
And so what can the community do here in Davis County to help support the Utah Pacific Island Chamber?
I like to think of it as we have a saying: together we can, together we will. So however businesses across Utah can support our community, it doesn't have to be our community specifically. It's mainly all businesses in Utah that we want to uplift and grow. We're not inclusive. We're not exclusive. We're inclusive.
I like that.
So just because the word Pacific Islander is on there doesn't mean you can't join us. We
So
have
this
all sorts of
Caucasian
people.
Polish girl
Yes.
can be able to join.
Yes, we have all sorts of people who are already in our chamber.
So goals for the chamber. What are your goals right now? I know you covered your four main points. What is something that you're working on right now?
We actually have an upcoming summit which we will do yearly, which is in December 14 and 15, and we're basically trying to bring to the community to learn from these people who are the best in their industry. We don't have to reinvent the wheel because there are people out there who we can use as networking and resources.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what our ultimate goal is, to help our people.
I like this. And that's an annual summit,
Yes,
correct?
it'll be an annual summit, but throughout the year we'll have multiple networking events and events for vendors to sell their services and items.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where is this chamber located?
We actually just got an office at the mill in Salt Lake City,
Okay.
the entrepreneurship center there. We have it. I believe it's in Sandy,
Okay.
the office.
And if we wanted to reach out to anyone at the Utah Pacific Island Chamber, where would we go?
There's a Facebook page and Instagram page. It'll be UPIC, Utah Pacific Islander Chamber of Commerce.
With
Or
two C's.
yes, and you can just visit upichamber.org
Okay.
for any information.
Fantastic. So we've talked about Behind the Lavalava. We've talked about the Utah Pacific Island Chamber. You and I were talking a little bit about a month ago about your annual Pacific Island Veterans Day dinner. Let's talk a little bit more. You guys, you have to understand, I accidentally called him on the day that he was trying to get that work done.
Yeah, it was a busy day.
I'm like, I'm so sorry to call you. Tell me about what you're doing here with that. Is that with the Chamber of Commerce or is that with Behind the Lavalava? Like, how did this even get started?
So the organizer is Behind the Lavalava. Our podcast are the organizers. So Behind the Lavalava, we emphasize and focus on telling the stories of all veterans,
Mm-hmm.
the people and culture of the Pacific, and small businesses. So I wanted something that was specific to all veterans, just because the word Pacific Islander is there. Again, it goes back to being inclusive. We want to honor every veteran. So our theme for this year was honoring the legacy, celebrating I believe is honoring the past, celebrating the legacy.
Mm.
So we want to honor all our veterans with a free dinner. So this dinner was, I would call it very successful. The turnout was great.
It's quite the undertaking that you put on. How many
Yes.
veterans?
So we
Did you
had
take care of?
150 seats, about 100 to 130ish people showed up. And next year we're going to grow the venue and maybe raise the seats to 300, because a lot of people want to sponsor this event. And the chamber are just one of our connections that are helping us hold these events. But Behind the Lava Lava is the main organizer. You can you either follow us on our social media, or I created a Pacific Island Veterans Day dinner page on social media, mainly Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that social media is probably your best way to be able to reach people and to be able to be reached yourself?
How I manage to reach more people is by going out to the community. Social media helps, but people like it when you have that genuine the trust when you're out there communicating with them and networking. So that's how I found a lot of the veterans for the dinners, is by attending all these events. And it wasn't necessarily Pacific Islander events,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm also helping out the Veterans Business Resource Center with their events.
Wow.
So that's where I gain a lot of the veteran help from.
Veteran Business Resource Center.
Yes, they are also located at the mill at Salt Lake City Community College.
You're involved in a lot of things. What is driving you to do all of this?
It's mainly because this year I've been very focused on community involvement, because I realize how important it is. A lot of business owners, they just sit and don't want to do the work of getting out there and spreading the word about their products or services, but they don't realize the importance of building that trust within the community.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would want your services more if they know more about your story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I build community relationships versus trying to focus on my business solely.
I think relationships is the heart of everything that we're doing here
Yes.
in this world, isn't it?
Yes.
And to be able to build each other and to help each other. My favorite phrase is rising tides lift all ships. And if we can help each other, why wouldn't we? So that seems to be your motivating factor then. Is that what's driving you then as well? Is that, or is it cute little kiddos at home? Like what?
I would like to say my family, my wife and kids, but it's mainly so that I don't enter that mental headspace of going to that dark corner again, keeping myself busy with things that matter, like family and the community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of life lessons that come from our dark moments in our lives, and a lot
Yes.
of good things that can come from that.
Yes, and that's what Behind the Lavalava likes to address is men's mental health. A lot of these taboo topics that we don't like to talk about, but we want to share it so that because it's relatable and it can inspire and help others.
And I think that as you're doing your podcast, you've realized that there are a lot of people that feel similarly and that we all have our dark moments, huh?
Yes, and
It
I
connects
like I
us.
like the podcast because it makes me uncomfortable. I was considered an introvert, but people who know me now see me as an extrovert, but I'm still an introvert. I'm just doing the work of extroverts, being out there, public speaking, and communicating with others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, I would also classify as an introvert. I like my quiet time.
Yeah.
I fill my own pitcher. Other people don't fill my pitcher.
Yes.
What can we do to support you and to help Behind the Lavalava, help with the annual Pacific Island Veterans Day dinner? How can we, you've done so much for us and for our community here in Davis County. How can we return that to you?
Um, I I'm the kind of person who don't like anything in return. I just want us to uplift each other when we need the help because I'm being a business owner is not easy. People
No.
think we're making money, but we're not. We're going through a lot of struggles trying to build a customer, clients, and trying to sell whatever services and products we have out there. But the main thing is just a simple follow on social media
Okay.
and just participate if you can in any of the activities that's held with Piana Lava Lava and the UPIC. And we also have the Women's Executive Alliance that's attached to the Chamber of Commerce. So that's mainly for women in business.
Hmm.
So that's a program or a branch of UPIC.
Okay. All right, ladies. It's not just for our guys here.
We have women in business, and
I
they're doing
like
it out
it.
there.
So, like and follow Behind the Lava Lava, Facebook and Instagram. And where's your podcast stationed out of? Is it on Spotify?
So our podcast is available on all podcast platforms. We post our videos on YouTube and Facebook and Reels on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay. All right. So basically, you're not hard to find.
Yeah, just Google and you'll find us. We've been out there long enough.
After a couple of years, I'm sure that we'll be able to find you. I'm
Yes.
sure we'll find something worthwhile. And if there's nothing else, I mean, get out there and get to know your Pacific Island community, Davis County, because it's thriving and
Yes.
it's vibrant.
Yes, and just remember that there are a lot of Pacific Islands. There's Polynesians, Micronesians, and Melanesians. We don't fall under Hawaii. So that's the main stereotype is we're all Hawaiians, but we're not. We have each distinct language, culture, and our own people. So there's more of us.
And if you've ever been to the Polynesian Culture Center in Hawaii, on Oahu, you realize very quickly everyone is so vastly different.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. You don't mistake, Fiji for,
Samoans
Tonga.
and Tongans.
Yes, yes. Well, wonderful. Michael, I'm so glad you got to come in today and we got to talk here at the Davis Catalyst Center, this school here that the Davis School District allows us to host our podcast at, and be able to talk about the American Samoan community and the Polynesian, the broader southeastern Pacific Island community, and the needs that we can as a community help you succeed in taking care of others.
Yes, and I really appreciate you having me on this platform to share our story, and to hopefully inspire others to do more for our community.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's been an honor.
Yes. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Micheal. Thank you. And thank you, Davis County, for listening. And until the next time, I hope you have a great day. We'll see you guys. Bye.